Before you ever drew your first breath, before you ever uttered a single word, you communicated. You felt. In the warm, dark sanctuary of the womb, you were enveloped in constant, gentle pressure, a ceaseless caress that whispered of safety, of connection, of life itself. Did you know that a fetus can distinguish between the touch of its mother and the touch of a stranger? It recoils, startles, its tiny heart hammering against its ribs at the unfamiliar contact. This, my friend, is the primal language of touch, a language far older and infinitely more powerful than any spoken dialect. Have you ever considered that your skin speaks a language older than words, a language understood instinctively by every human being? I'm talking about the raw, undeniable power of touch. I'm about to expose the shocking secrets of unspoken communication, revealing how the simple act of touching, or, equally importantly, not touching, can build empires of trust and loyalty, elevate you in every social circle, or shatter relationships into a million irreparable pieces. It can make or break a business deal, a romantic encounter, a friendship. We're going to delve into a realm often overlooked, yet fundamental to our very existence, a force that governs our interactions and shapes our perceptions, and its influence is terrifyingly underestimated. We blithely navigate our days, oblivious to the constant, subtle exchange of tactile information, the silent symphony of skin on skin, or the chilling void where touch should be, but isn't. Prepare yourself, because what you are about to learn will change forever the way you perceive human interaction, and it is not for the faint of heart. Did you know that premature bobbies, fragile and fighting for every breath, experience a dramatic surge in survival rates simply through consistent human touch? It's a phenomenon that throws the cold, clinical world of medicine on its head. Kangaroo care, they call it, where the infant is held skin to skin against a parent's chest, and the results are nothing short of miraculous. But what's the real magic behind this seemingly simple act? It's a biological symphony, a cascade of events triggered the instant skin meets skin. Imagine a dam bursting. That's oxytocin, the love hormone, flooding the infant's system. This isn't some fluffy, new age concept. This is hardwired into our very being. Oxytocin, released in both the giver and receiver of touch, acts as a powerful elixir. It ignites the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode, slowing the heart rate, deepening the breath, and initiating a profound sense of calm. Simultaneously, something else incredible happens. Cortisol, the stress hormone, the chemical embodiment of anxiety and fear, plummets like a stone in a well. Cortisol in high, sustained levels is a ruthless destroyer. It weakens the immune system, disrupts sleep, and impairs cognitive function. But touch is the antidote. It's the physiological equivalent of shouting, "Stand down," to the body's alarm system. But the benefits don't stop there. Heart rate variability, a key indicator of overall health and resilience, improves dramatically. A healthy heart doesn't beat like a metronome. It dances, subtly speeding up and slowing down in response to the body's needs. Greater variability signifies a more adaptable, more robust system, better equipped to handle stress and maintain equilibrium. Touch directly enhances this vital variability, tuning the heart to a more harmonious rhythm. What does all this really mean on a fundamental human level? It means connection, safety, belonging. It's the silent reassurance that we are not alone, that we are held, that we are safe. It's the difference between thriving and withering, between vibrant health and desolate sickness, between a life fully lived and a mere existence. Consider the devastating evidence from studies on touch deprivation. Think of the Romanian orphanages, a chilling testament to the consequences of neglecting this fundamental need. Infants, deprived of human contact, despite receiving adequate nutrition and medical care, suffered catastrophic developmental delays. Their physical growth was stunted. Their cognitive abilities were severely impaired. Many developed what's known as failure to thrive, a heartbreaking condition where the body simply begins to shut down, a silent scream for connection. These weren't isolated cases. This was a widespread tragedy, a horrifying demonstration of the profound impact of touch deprivation. I once encountered a man, a successful businessman, seemingly untouchable in his fortress of power and wealth. Yet he confessed to me in a moment of raw vulnerability a deep-seated loneliness, a hollowness that gnawed at his soul. He had built walls, not bridges, and his life, for all its outward success, was emotionally barren. He had inadvertently starved himself of the very thing that makes us human, genuine, heartfelt connection. He was a king in a desolate kingdom, surrounded by riches but utterly alone. The lack of physical connection, the absence of simple touch in his life, had contributed to a profound sense of isolation, a constant underlying hum of anxiety that no amount of success could erase. His story is a stark warning, a glaring example of what happens when we ignore the primal language of our skin. Explore different types of touch and their nuanced meanings. A handshake, a hug, a pat on the back, a caress, even a punch. Each communicates a distinct message, a world of unspoken intent. And terrifyingly, a simple misinterpretation can lead to utter disaster. Have you ever considered the sheer, raw power encoded in these seemingly simple gestures? I am here to tell you, ignoring them it's like walking blindfolded through a minefield. Let's start with the handshake, that ubiquitous ritual of greeting and agreement. This isn't just a formality, it's a test, a primal assessment of character. Consider the bone-crushing grip, the one that leaves your hand aching. Is it a sign of strength and dominance? Perhaps. But more often it reveals insecurity, a desperate need to project power, a man compensating for a deep-seated feeling of inadequacy. It's the physical equivalent of shouting to be heard, a blatant display of try-hard energy that screams weakness. On the other end of the spectrum, we have the limp fish, the dreaded, lifeless handshake that makes you recoil instinctively. This signals either disinterest, disrespect, or a complete lack of confidence. It's a betrayal of weakness, a sign that the person before you is likely to fold under pressure, to lack the conviction to stand their ground. The ideal handshake, firm, dry, lasting for 2 to 3 seconds, accompanied by direct eye contact. This projects confidence, competence, and respect. Master this, and you've already won half the battle in any social interaction. Now, let's move on to the hug. Oh, the hug, a seemingly simple embrace, yet it can communicate volumes about the relationship between two people. Is it a genuine, heartfelt embrace, the kind that lingers, radiating warmth and connection? Or is it a perfunctory, obligatory ritual, a quick, almost reluctant contact that screams discomfort and a desire to escape? Think about it. A genuine hug involves full frontal contact, a merging of energy fields. It's a powerful affirmation of connection, a silent declaration of "I see you, I accept you, I value you." But a half-hearted hug, the kind where only the upper bodies touch, with a significant gap between the lower bodies, that's a red flag. It signals distance, formality, even aversion. It says, "I'm going through the motions, but I'm not truly present with you." And beware the excessively long hug. Especially in professional settings, it can cross the line into awkwardness, even creepiness, signaling a lack of social awareness or, worse, inappropriate intentions. And the seemingly innocent pat on the back. Don't be fooled. This seemingly supportive gesture can be loaded with subtle, even subconscious meaning. Is it a firm, solid pat delivered with an open palm, conveying genuine encouragement and camaraderie? Or is it a condescending pat delivered with a slightly cupped hand, almost a tapping motion, as if to say, "Good job, little one"? The latter is a power play, a subtle attempt to establish dominance and diminish the recipient. Think of a teacher patting a student or a boss patting an employee. It can be a way of reinforcing hierarchy, of reminding the recipient of their lower status. Even the location of the pat matters. A pat on the upper back is generally more supportive, while a pat lower down can feel more dismissive, even demeaning. Let's delve even further. The caress. The difference from a simple touch is stark. It indicates intimacy and emotional closeness. It's not always sexual. A parent caressing their child's face. That is an act of pure love and instinctive gesture, but a caress in a business setting, that would be catastrophic and could shatter your career into a million pieces. A simple touch can mean encouragement, love, or a demand, depends on the area of the body, pressure, and context. And since we are being thorough here, let's talk about the punch. That's also a physical touch. It's the clearest example of a touch being an act of aggression and dominance. There are many other types of violent contact, but this is the most obvious. A slap in the face, an act of aggression and contempt, to degrade. Compare that to a doctor touching a patient during an examination, a completely professional and clinical contact. It is a touch with the purpose of gathering information, of helping. A huge difference. Cultural variations are crucial here. In some cultures, frequent touching is the norm, a sign of warmth and friendship. In others, it's considered intrusive and disrespectful. A hug between men in Latin America might be perfectly acceptable, even expected, while in some parts of Asia it would be highly unusual, even offensive. Bowing in Japan, for instance, is a sign of respect and formality, replacing the handshake common in Western cultures. Misinterpreting these cultural nuances can lead to major social faux pas, damaging relationships and creating unnecessary conflict. Imagine traveling to a foreign country and inadvertently offending your host with an inappropriate touch. It could ruin your entire trip, even jeopardize business deals. There are stories, oh, the stories I could tell, of business negotiations collapsing because of an ill-timed pat on the back, of friendships shattered by an unwanted hug, of international incidents sparked by a simple misunderstanding of touch etiquette. These are not trivial matters. They are the very fabric of human interaction, and the consequences of ignorance can be devastating. So be warned and be aware. The silent language of the skin is always speaking, and you must learn to listen or suffer the brutal consequences. Let's cut through the noise and get to the heart of it. Touch is not some fluffy, optional extra in the human experience. It is the very lifeblood of connection, the primal scream of our shared humanity. It's the bedrock upon which we build trust, forge alliances, and navigate the treacherous landscape of social interaction. Think of it: without touch, we are adrift, isolated islands in a vast, uncaring ocean. We wither, we shrink, we become shadows of our potential selves. We've journeyed through the science, haven't we? Witnessing the miraculous cascade of oxytocin, the plummeting cortisol, the very reshaping of our nervous system through simple human contact. We've seen the devastating consequences of touch deprivation, the haunting specters of neglected infants, the hollow eyes of those starved of connection. These aren't just abstract concepts. These are stark warnings, screaming at us to wake up. We've explored the subtle, the almost imperceptible language of touch. A simple handshake can betray a man's entire character in a split second, can't it? A hug can mend a broken heart or expose the coldness of a feigned affection. A pat on the back can either build confidence or shatter it with its condescension. Ignoring these subtleties is like walking through a minefield blindfolded. The results will be brutal, utterly brutal. Therefore, I implore you, become hyper-aware, acutely mindful of your own touch, and just as importantly, the touch of others. How are you presenting yourself to the world? Are you projecting strength, confidence, and genuine connection? Or are you broadcasting weakness, insecurity, and a desperate need for validation? Are you truly listening to what others are saying with their touch? Or are you so lost in your own world that you miss the subtle cues, the unspoken pleas, the hidden warnings? This isn't about becoming a touchy-feely guru. It's about becoming a master communicator, a leader, a man who understands the primal power he wields. In a world increasingly digitized, where genuine human contact is becoming a rare and precious commodity, the man who masters this silent language will possess an almost unfair advantage. We are starved, absolutely starved of authentic connection. We crave it, we yearn for it, yet we often sabotage ourselves with clumsy, insensitive touch or by shying away from it altogether. My challenge to you is simple, yet profound. Become a student of touch. Observe, analyze, learn to decode this ancient language with the precision of a seasoned codebreaker. Learn to speak it fluently, with intention and awareness, not just with your hands, but with your entire being. Practice offering touch that is appropriate, supportive, and empowering. And crucially, learn to receive touch with an open heart and a discerning mind. Discern the true intentions behind every touch you receive, the hidden messages behind every interaction. The rewards. They are immeasurable, far exceeding anything you can currently imagine. Deeper, more meaningful relationships, stronger, unbreakable bonds with those you value most, a profound sense of belonging, of being truly seen and understood, unparalleled success in your personal and professional life, because you will possess the ultimate key to human connection. The future, your future, is quite literally in your hands. Will you grasp it, mold it, shape it into the masterpiece it was meant to be? Or will you let it slip through your fingers, lost forever to the void of missed opportunities and unspoken words?